This is what Jesus said unto them.
Verily, verily, I say unto
Verily,
you,
verily, I say unto you,
Moses give you not that bread from heaven,
the bread that you are talking about, because you are asking me of a sign, that bread, and the bread we are talking about here is in Exodus chapter number 16. We are talking about manna. Hey, that bread never actually came from heaven. Even if Moses said that this bread has come from heaven, it never actually came from where? Why? Because I am the only one who has come from heaven. So I have the full information about on what is happening in the kingdom of God. Look at the surprise in verse number 33.
For the bread of God is he.
When we are talking about the bread of God, we are talking about a he, not a it. So if they could have recorded and said, for the bread of God is it, it could be good for us to be taking soda and biscuit in churches every Sunday. Yes. If it could have been referred to it. But now he's talking about the bread is he. So meaning he is a pronoun. Am I right? If it's a pronoun, it refers to a person. And if it's a person, we have to find a person. Look at the explanation. End that one clearly.
For the bread of God is he which cometh down from heaven.
The one who came down from heaven is that the bread that we are talking about. Moses told you that that came from heaven, but it never really actually came from heaven. Why? That time, no one had an understanding on what is happening in the kingdom of God. But now the question you will ask again yourself, where did it really came from? Because when you find where it really came from, you will find the answer that Jesus is giving. Look at it.
For the bread of God is he which cometh down from heaven,
Hey.
to giveth life unto the world.
So the question is, did the people who ate manna, did they die? Did they die?
Yes.
If they died, then it means the bread that they took never had what?
Life.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
When you take Holy Communion, do you die?
Yes.
So that means Holy Communion is not the bread of God.
Exactly.
When you eat the bread, look, hey, look at this. David says in the book of Psalm 78, he says the food that they ate from heaven was the food of angels. And if that manna was the food of angels, and they ate and they died, what about the bread that you go to the supermarket and buy? It's a question we're asking now. The food of angels, the forefathers ate and they died. What about the one you go to the bakery and you say, make for me 1,000 because I'll be having 1,000 visitors. Let me know. It's around from 28 there. 78 around 28. Read it. This is David speaking. The book of Psalms. Man did eat angel food.
He sent the meat to the food.
David is giving us a revelation on what kind of manna it was. He says that was not manna. That was food meant to angels. And where are the angels? The angels are just around you. And the angels are not in heaven. And if angels are just around you, it means all the things that are happening around you, you have them, only that if you are not able to see them, it's not his fault for you to not see. So he says, this was food of angels. And Moses told you, it came from heaven. But Jesus says, it never came from heaven. Actually, the bread that came from heaven is me. So meaning, there is something that Moses saw, hey, but he used the manna to talk about the he who was coming. Meaning, the it, which is the bread, was to symbolize the real thing that was to come, who is Jesus Christ. Amen. That when he came, he started putting things into perspective by saying this and this. You see in Matthew chapter number 5, Jesus corrected almost everything that Moses said. He says, you have heard it has been said, but I say. It's the correction now. Why? He was not able to bring down the real thing. Because what Moses was shown was in the invisible world. So maybe there might be a way that he cannot be able to see clearly on the things that he's bringing out. That is why he was very specific when Noah was building the ark. He said, make sure. It's a caution. When a person says, make sure, it's a caution. Make sure you build according to the pattern. Not that you develop now. There is no issue of bringing your architectural professionalism here. No. You have to build according to the patterns shown unto you where? On the mountain. So anything that he was given, there are some that he missed. No wonder we see a result of the physical things in this world. Anything that happened without interpretation. That is why, Old Testament is a testament with unanswered questions because people were having a veil of Moses not to see through. When Moses is put here and Jesus is put here, they were not able to see Moses. They were not able to see Jesus, but they saw Moses. The time that the commandments were brought, Jesus says, I was seated. During that time, the angel that administered the giving of the law, that was me. But these people of the past, they pushed me away. And they said, Moses we love. Now they said, let's focus to Moses. So when Jesus comes now, he says, I'm not going to accuse you because I'm a faithful high priest. The Moses of whom you believed in the wilderness, oh my goodness, is the one who will accuse you. Why? When you look unto Moses, he holds all the things that was to carry you was inside Moses, because it's the person that you took as your life. That is why it's through the faith of Moses that the children of Israel passed the Red Sea. None actually believed, because the Israelites, the Egyptians, all the people, they were the same now. They were the same. What made them different? The faith. Because when the Israelites were living in Egypt, when they were with the Egyptians, the same sins the Egyptians were committing is the same sins that the Israelites were doing what? Because they were in the same nation. They were committing the same thing. They were committing adultery. It's the same thing. But what differentiated them? The faith they had. Well, that is why when Rahab says, we have heard of your God, it is the hearing. Romans says something in the book of Romans, chapter number 10, verse number 17. Now faith is by hearing. What are you hearing? 1 Corinthians 15, 1, 2, 3. For as the Son of Man died according to the scriptures, and he was buried, and he came out of the grave, that is the message that it says you. So anything outside that one is not what is required. The only thing to check on is the message of the suffering of Jesus and the glory that it came. Why? Because inside the glory we become partakers. Let's stand up and pray, because they're not following what I'm teaching this afternoon.